Simone is trying to power through her breakup. Damon and Thea's ship have set sail, and Mother Nate is here to help pick up all the pieces. What's good, y'all? It's your good sis Erica Vane coming to you right here on Erica Vane TV with another All-American Homecoming video. In this video, we are breaking down episode 11 from season 1. And if you missed it, I did do my episode 18 All-American breakdown, which was interesting. I will say that I'm glad that I took a little bit longer to make this video because I'm a lot calmer now. I'm still in my villain era. However, when I went back and rewatched the All-American Homecoming episode, which I did about 3 times, I will say that it is still a solid episode in line with what they have been giving us with All-American Homecoming. My only qualm is I do not want the muddling of the Dia waters with Simone and Damon's lack of clarity around their feelings. I think that while it does create a drama story on a drama show, I think that for me, that would take us right back down the road of original All-American era love triangles. And I think that we have already told that story enough in the universe and we don't need to tell it. So next episode to me will be pivotal in which way they're actually planning to go when it comes to these 3 individuals, these 3 really, really dope characters. I'm praying they pull up and they don't just push us straight into this stereotypical love triangle situation, because not for nothing, I don't think that Thea as a character deserves it. Not that anybody does, but more so, she's actually kind of really, really, really innocent. A lot of y'all are comparing what's happening with Dia and what's happening with Damon to what was going on with Spela and what was going on with Bolivia. And in all honesty, I feel like these characters are much cleaner coming into their feelings for each other. Spela was all complicated. At the time that Spencer fell for Layla, she was in a relationship. At the time that Olivia fell for Spencer, she was just getting back to school after being in rehab and going through all that she's gone through, and has slept with her best friend's boyfriend and done a whole bunch of craziness, and then couldn't speak up for herself and allow her best friend to get in a relationship to the new guy that she liked. Like, it was all so messy. Thea has none of that. Thea has not been in a relationship before. Thea has not been in love before. Thea is all about tennis and school and being the best person that she can be, and that's it. Simone, when confronted with potential feelings for another guy while in a relationship, she created boundaries, created distance, and did the right thing. So a lot of y'all run around here saying that Simone has been emotionally cheating, and I don't believe that she has. So y'all can argue with y'all's mamas, because that's one part of the Erica villain era that I'm going to keep going over here. Even though I'm a little bit calmer, I still argue with y'all's mamas. So she's doing the right thing. And Damon, I've come a very long way with his character, because I started this series not liking him and wanting deeply to not like him. But now we're here. He has shown himself to be a really dope individual. He's shown himself to be a nurturer. He's shown himself to care deeply about his family and his friends. He's shown himself to be super solid and being an asset to Black women. And how could we not love that? So I also don't feel like there's as much complication. Well, I guess Spencer didn't have a lot of complication on his end because he was just popping up at Beverly. But let's say this, Thea, she's way less complicated than what was happening with Layla. And personally, I don't think it's the exact same. I think the situations are completely different. But that just serves my point of, like, we don't need to make this whole thing become a triangle that we redo. We've seen it. We've struggled with it. We've endured. We've seen it play out. And we don't want that for any of these characters. Now that I have gotten that part out the way, I can go ahead and say that I did enjoy this episode. Watching Simone really fight her feelings for this breakup and watching her get to a point where she realizes that she has to release and she has to grieve. Because y'all, we gotta grieve. When things happen to us, when we go through losses, when we feel down, you have to allow yourself to feel your feelings. Because like Nate said, it will be a track that continues to repeat itself until you let that joint play. And I thought that that was done very, very beautifully in this episode. And having a ceremony where, while I don't want her burying memories, like, girl, couldn't we have made some copies that we could have buried or something, honey? Because this is all that we got. But I understood it and I completely related to it, and I understood the cathartic release that comes with this type of physical act around, you know, manifesting the release and the grieving of your emotions. So I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed Simone's process in this episode, and them actually giving her the entire episode in reference to time to show her release and show her process in the grief, and showing the weight that this relationship carried in her life. To me, this is exactly the energy that we should have also seen from Jordan, who was already on to the next, and that frustrates me. That frustrates me so much after watching All American, but then to come into All American Homecoming and see that Simone validates the fact that we all know that this was a big deal. This relationship was a huge deal. It was one of the most solid, mature, communicative, and healthy relationships that we have seen in the All-American universe. And while these two people are going through the separation, also the audience, we are all grieving this loss. Now, if you weren't here for Jamone, mind your business and stay quiet. This ain't the time for you. Let's not lean into our narcissistic tendencies and let your good sis, as well as the subbies who've been on Team Jamone for life, have this, okay? Because again, I'm calm in this video, but I'm still in my villain era. And I'm telling people to go straight to hell, just so you know. Now, also in this episode, Damon is reeling from the news that JR's mom is really his mom. And all of his reactions felt very authentic and natural, and I don't blame him for any of it. He's pushing JR away at the top of the episode. He's pushing Celine away, and I can't blame him at all. Like, it's a lot to take in. And then when you really start to think about the circumstances, it's like, yo, you wanted JR, but you didn't want me? Why? And not that that's the best place to put yourself in reference to mindset, but he's human, and you go there. Another struggle that I'm having is the fact that we have Damon and Thea get together in this episode, but we also have them doing this amongst him, pushing JR away, pushing Celine away, struggling with Simone pushing him away, and I just feel like it's all too much. And while I do think that Dia is ready, I want Dia to be safe. And nothing is truly safe in this world, so let's not nitpick with me in the comment section, but I want them to be a little bit more stable. Like, I want it to feel like the decision was made from a very grounded place. And the fact that Damon is not actually on stable ground in this episode, and he has all these feelings that he's trying to compartmentalize, that Thea at different points she says, like, yo, whatever you're running from, you're going to have to face. Like, what you said to JR, how you treated JR, that wasn't right. And I love those beautiful moments. We're going to talk about Thea in a second. He's trying his best to manage the emotions that he has. And I feel like not that his decision is completely based off the emotional place that he's in now to get in a relationship with Thea. I just feel like everything right now is so complicated and heightened. I would have wanted a more cleaner start. I would have wanted a more stable start. Now, Thea and Damon in this episode give us goals, give us perfect for each other, give us, yes, this is what every ship should be made of, realness. I think that Thea shows exactly how much of a great compliment she can be to Damon's life, in that she takes him on the first date to PT and they're like stretching, and she shows up after his game and is like, oh, okay, great, I don't have to lie about you. You know that you didn't do great, so I don't have to lie and pretend like you weren't. And she just speaks, she does a great job of speaking life over him, but also still holding him accountable. And she can do so from a place of, she's very much so like this with herself. And I thought that that was so beautiful to see. Like, Thea might not have been in a relationship before, like a romantic relationship, but she's been in a relationship with herself for at least the last 18 years. And she has been able to travel the world and compete, and she's gotten to know herself, and she has grown. She's very worldly. So while she doesn't have the romantic experience to come into the relationship with, she has the emotional awareness, she has the social skills, she has the command of her craft and her talent, and all of those are going to be beautiful assets to this Dia relationship. So again, I'm praying that they don't wind up writing this in a way that Damon made a knee-jerk reaction to being rejected by Simone, and like, why not Thea, because you know she kind of cool and Simone ain't available. I really just want it to be that Damon chose Thea because he really is feeling Thea, and I do believe that that's what they're showing us. But watching him grapple with his feelings with Simone, watching them at Simone's door after she like has this emotional moment, and he runs to like check on her, and he's like, yo, why can't we just be like, why can't we show up for each other? And she's like, we can't be doing this, we gotta figure out ourselves for ourselves. And it's like, he needs time to process what does that mean. He needs time to like grieve maybe what he felt like was his relationship or friendship with Simone, and her saying it can't be that anymore. Like, I just felt like we need more space and time for the processing of feelings, and the fact that he has to take this huge rejection in one end, but then walk into this beautiful relationship on the other end, and then still try to navigate those emotions, all the while the underbelly of his emotions are like feeling rejected as a whole, or feeling dismissed or undervalued, in that Celine gave him up. It's just like, oh my God, it's a lot. I'm not even Damon, and I feel overwhelmed with just the thought of all of that. Now, again, as I mentioned, Thea shines in this episode. I love seeing the moments of her getting so giddy. And when Damon asked her to be his girlfriend, she's like, oh, I got a boyfriend. And she's just so excited. I think for me, y'all, because we are also grieving with Simone, it tempered how happy we could get about Damon and Thea. Like, I found moments where I was like, okay, Thea, yeah, I'm excited for you, so happy girl, and I want this for you, but I was still already feeling down because of Simone and Jordan. And I'm just like, if they could have gave us this in separate episodes, that would have been so great, because I would have loved to just been on a high with Thea all episode, truly. Now, one thing that they can go ahead and keep on Homecoming is this little Raggedy Ralph, this previous student who's a newspaper guy who was trying to also now help Amara get to the bottom of what's going on with Brinkston, yada yada yada, but also trying to do an expose on these performance enhancing drugs within baseball. And he gets his behind handed to him by Marcus Turner, who is also spiraling because he's still off his meds, and he yelling at Damon, he yelling at JR, and he's losing his damn mind. Sir Marcus, get it together. Ralph, get the hell on. Amara, you need to be planning to stay here since you're doing all this dang on digging. And everybody just calm down. Like, I'll keep saying this. I feel like Ghost in Power, when Angela died and he was talking to Tasha, he said, I just lost the love of my life. Shit. Like, everybody calm down. We just lost Jamone, the love of our lives. We don't have time for whatever the hell y'all got going on. Damn. JR, shout out to you for getting yourself together in this episode, because guess what? I was going to read your ass if you would have kept on going with this annoyance that you had for Damon avoiding you and yada, yada, yada. You needed to know that that boy needed to have space. You've been throwing tantrums this entire season. If you wouldn't have accepted his apology and decided to go ahead and like let it be, I would have said the hell with you. Because in all actuality, Damon brings more to y'all's relationship than you do. And you are replaceable, bro. At least right now you are. You better step up and show what the hell you bring to the table in this friendship, because at this point everybody can go. Prayers up for Marcus Turner, y'all. I need him to get back on the meds because he's stressing me out. And I think that's it. I think that's all I got for my breakdown. As y'all can tell, I'm calmer, I'm tired, I'm exhausted from the stories that we're being told. I'm really anxious about Monday night and where things goes. I'm not rooting for any other shit except for Thea with an asterisk. If Damon is on some BS and he's just, doing this whole Thea thing as a reaction to Simone, then I got a problem. But if he's genuine and wants to do this relationship and they want to set it up right, then okay, cool. That would be the only ship that I stand in the All-American universe, because now that Jamone is done, and now that they have mishandled the way that Jamone was done, Erica's in her villain era, and I don't give a damn about none of it. Okay? If you miss why you need a clarity on my villain era, go ahead and check out my All-American episode 18 breakdown. I also have a few other videos coming talking about how they could have handled Simone and Jordan's breakup better, giving you a little bit more character stories. You should join the membership. Right now I have a 2-hour video up specifically about Damon and Thea and why it could work and be amazing and beautiful, and talk about all of the questions, the conspiracies, the reasons that people pose that they won't work, and then break down why I feel like they will in that video. And that is a members only exclusive on the channel, so feel free to join the membership if you want to get exclusive content. But I will have more free videos coming. Just hit that subscribe button and turn on your bell notification so that you don't miss out on that. If I miss anything, let me know in the comment section down below and I will come back with it. It's your good sis Erica Vade. Don't forget the slogan, argue with y'all's mamas, but go ahead and post a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.